We have this mission that just continues to align us, and leaders that have been here for a very, very long time. That's the big differentiator. And again, the mission is just, that gives me hope, right?
Yeah.
When I need it, I just walk the campus and see it everywhere.
From the campus of Our Lady's University, this is For Good, Stories from Notre Dame, a behind-the-scenes glimpse into life under the Golden Dome and the powerful stories that drive Notre Dame to become a force for good in the world. Hello and welcome to For Good, Stories from Notre Dame. Today we are joined once again by Shannon Cullinan, our Executive Vice President at the University of Notre Dame. Shannon plays a key role in shaping and stewarding the university's finances, physical campus, and operational strategy. We're grateful to have him with us to talk about both the challenges and opportunities for Notre Dame as we begin a new academic year. Shannon, thanks so much for being with us. We're in the north porch of the Golden Dome. We're overlooking the lakes here. It's a beautiful backdrop, and there's going to be all kinds of ambient noise. So who knows?
I don't think I've ever sat out here. It's kind of nice. So.
It is really nice. It feels like we're overlooking the White House or something, some big, right. DC broadcast here. So would you detail for us a little bit there's a lot, everybody knows that we're facing financial headwinds. There's been a lot of change in, over the course of this past year in particular. What are some of the financial headwinds that we're facing, and how are we doing our best to position ourselves to weather, the challenges ahead?
Yeah, I'd say maybe because we've been here so long, Lou, that the solution is to sort of lean into mission, no matter what the headwind, right?
Yep.
So on the financial side, I'd say, three things, right? Mm-hmm. We're in an environment that's much more litigious than we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Right? We just had a $2.8 billion House settlement that was shared amongst hundreds of schools and is changing college athletics, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot more of that's going to hit higher education.
Right.
That's one bucket. The second, I'd say the markets are pretty strong right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the interest rates are, almost 2x of what we would have issued debt at.
Right.
So instead of paying 3.4% on 30-year debt, could be 5.5 or 6. Mm-hmm. That's hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And the big one about is sort of we'll call it the new compact. We're not sure what it's going to look like with the federal government. Yeah. And that ranges from, we've had canceled grants of $30 million so far, right, on the federal grant side. And we really don't know what it's going to look like in fiscal year 26, 27, a little bit in the financial aid area as well, a little less. And we'll take care of that for our students. And then the last is the endowment tax. We talk about this a lot. And some people think it's new. Yeah. It's not. It's been around since 2018, came in with the Tax Cut and Job Act, but it was 1.4%. And we would pay each year about $12 million. Well, with the big bill that just went through, it's gone from 1.4% to 4% or 8%, depending on your endowment assets per student. Right. And we'll be in that 8% range fairly quickly at that range. Now, we're still working really hard on a religious exemption. We were sort of at the goal line there, and then at the very last minute, the parliamentarian in the Senate wouldn't allow that to go through. And to the team in D.C. who worked so hard on that, they're not giving up on that anytime soon. As far as what are we doing, and you know this, we did a staff hiring freeze in March. Mm-hmm. It's not real popular with your team. Right. And then by June, we did a 2.5% budget cut, which was necessary. But again, on the mission front, we're fortunate because our faculty staff were pretty terrific about it, right? And it's hard, right? Yeah. It's hard not to be able to replace that position that comes up, whether it's development or athletics or take your pick. I think the community's been exceptional.
Yeah. There's the old adage in Catholic circles, if you're carrying your cross and you feel like you want to get rid of it and you walk up to the top of the hill and you want to drop it and you see the sizes of crosses that other people are bearing, you realize that our problems aren't as bad as we might make them. You meet regularly with your peers from the other top 20 privates and so forth. When you see what we're going through and what others are facing, how do you put that in perspective?
Well, I'll give it two levels. One, on the financial side, our sort of federal grant number is nowhere near some of these, particularly with medical school. And you know that, right?
Right.
From talking to your peers. They're not just worried about grants being canceled. What's their Medicaid reimbursement going to be?
Right.
That we don't have to deal with in the same way. Certainly our College of Science and College of Engineering and social sciences, pretty big impact. Here, the other really big one is on the leadership side. I've never seen anything like it. I'm 25 years in, you're 27. That just the change at the president, the provost, the EVP level, it's like nothing I've ever seen. So then your alignment from the board to that group all the way down is really tough.
Yeah.
And we don't have that.
Yeah.
We have this mission that just continues to align us, and leaders that have been here for a very, very long time. That's the big differentiator when I talk to them. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no,
What do you
I
have?
see three things that really separate us, and one I would say is that exactly about not just the continuity of leadership, but when I look at Father Bob and John McGreevy and you as three executive officers and the people you've surrounded yourselves with, I see a selflessness that is hard to find in other organizations. Usually ego, insecurity gets in the way, and people are trying to hunt. Here, we may make mistakes, but people are dedicated to the mission, and it's not about them. And that is a force multiplier. If the mission comes first, then your team in particular have taken always a long-term conservative view with regard to fiscal management, that when times like this come, we're better prepared for the turbulence. And then I think that we're better prepared than many of our peers to withstand whatever challenges we don't even know might be ahead of us.
Yeah, and you're right. That's cultural over that goes back to Joyce, Father Joyce, all the way through, that not just sort of thoughtful and conservative at some level, but you ask the really tough questions and you do the planning before it gets here. You don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Nobody predicted COVID,
right?
But you better get in a room and figure out the endowment's down 20%, not a fun conversation to have.
Yeah.
What are you doing, right?
Right.
What are all the black swan events that could happen?
You're saying if the endowment were to be down 20%.
If the endowment, we're doing great.
Yeah,
but if it were down,
Yeah.
what would you do?
Right.
Financial aid's up 20%, what would you do? And the board asked really tough questions on that very topic.
Right. You've
So-
talked a lot about playing offense and defense in times like this. What does that mean?
McGreevy's trying to take that line.
I know
from me.
he
Did you
is.
see that?
He is stealing that
Which
line.
I'm really flattered by. I just want to be in his fifth book. So for me, and it's an interesting time to do it, on the defensive side, it's sort of get your house in order, right?
Yeah.
And particularly for you.
Yeah.
If we're going to go out and ask benefactors to support this institution, you better have stories about how we're actually taking our own medicine, right? On the stewardship side of things. But on the offensive side, this is a moment, and particularly for our faculty and John McGreevy, we're going to go out and do faculty hiring in the next fiscal year when very few institutions are going to be in the marketplace.
Right.
And you know how hard it is to get senior hires, how competitive it is. We're very hopeful that this might be a really impressive year for Notre Dame in terms of faculty hiring. We'll see.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you talk all the time, and there's something I've stolen from you. You talk about being, humble, hungry, and hopeful.
Yeah.
And our teams really have embraced those three values. We all understand, and we've talked a lot about being hungry and humble, but now it seems like it's maybe a more critical point than ever in a face of so much political disarray, so much sadness, horrific atrocities, violence happening in the country, and beyond throughout the world for that matter. It's really time for Notre Dame to be messengers of hope. Cultivating hope is the theme, as you know, that Father Bob has selected for us. So what role do you see us being cultivators of hope?
Yeah, it's interesting. We just had a football weekend, right? Where we had lots of alumni, parents, and friends here. I think there's an expectation that when they come back, we're going to be light, right? We're going to be loving in terms of hope for them. And for me, not always, but if you need a little dose of hope, spend time with our students.
Yeah.
Like this past Thursday, you had 3 of our students with Father Bob. If you want to feel good, right, amidst the darkness, spend time with our students. I'd say the same about our faculty and staff,
Yeah.
right? And the way they operate in this environment, it's pretty jovial here.
Yeah.
There is joy on this campus, and people are looking for that from the outside in. The other is I do think we need to be in the national conversation. Even this federal compact, Notre Dame should be around the table for what that looks like.
Yeah.
And there is an opportunity for change, and we need to change them, right? But we should be at the table and try and be hopeful about what that can look like long term. But, and again, the mission is just, that gives me hope, right?
Yeah.
I need it. I just walk the campus and see it everywhere.
So you oversee so much of the stewardship units of the university, and not just the financial stewardship, but also the stewardship of human resources as well. Right. Tell us how do you think in times like these, how do we tighten the belt? How do we stretch the philanthropic dollar to make sure that we can have maximum impact? How are we more lean, efficient, productive?
Yeah, such a good question. It's like I'm in the boardroom, though. And they were literally asking me this question last Friday. And it's the right question, right? So with AI in my, the units that I work with a lot, there'll be a big opportunity there for efficiency. It doesn't mean we're going to have fewer people, but they may have even better work to do, right?
Yeah.
If I work in accounts payable right now, and they're really good at what they do, but long term, their job's probably going to change, maybe to something much more fulfilling. And I'm always asking them tough questions about efficiency. We have vacuums inside this building that do our carpets that are robotic.
Yeah.
I want to know when the grass is going to be cut in the same way.
Yeah.
We're not there yet, they tell me.
Right.
But we will be someday, right?
Yeah.
These acres and acres of grass that we cut, there probably won't be a human doing most of it long term, right? And it's also a mindset. Am I constantly looking around for the broken windows and the opportunity that exists here that you and I have no idea about? And we have no idea how to fix it, right? Long term.
Right.
But at the same time, get your efficiency, take the cost out, deliver better service, just come back to taking care of your people. Right?
Yeah.
Don't make anybody afraid of this. That's not what this is about. And then there's the big stuff, right? Between you on the fundraising side and Tim Dozel in terms of endowment returns and how we manage our debt, we're not going to take our eye off of that either.
Yeah. We haven't spoken enough about Tim Dozel and his team, the investment team and their management of the endowment and our financial resources, even more broadly. What level of confidence do you have in that team?
Ultimate, I would say. And for the reasons that they're all mission hires. They're here because of mission first.
Right.
And they're exceptionally talented.
Yeah.
Right. Second, and they're all in on mission and financial aid and all the great. I always say to them, I said, you're the engine that's going to drive our aspirations. Right. And we've got a group right now that I would expect to be around for a while, and Tim Dozel, that he don't want to do this anywhere else.
Yeah.
Just like you, just like me.
Yeah.
This is the place. He wants to honor the lady that sits on that dome.
Yeah.
And they just happen to be the best in the country
at
it. And they're respected by our partners, and they're respected by other CIOs, right? Because of the way they operate, right?
And Tim, who was valedictorian of his class, and like so many people here could be making so much more money on Wall Street and other places like that, but is here because of mission-related reasons and all that. All right, so tell us a little bit about construction. Everybody around the country wants to know, okay, what's going to happen next? What are the latest buildings? And now it's not just the construction on campus, but it's also projects beyond the campus as well. Maybe you can give us an update.
I remember saying to you, I said, I think the construction's going to go down, and it just never seems to. I think next summer, I think it's going to happen because we've got 4 or 5 projects that'll be opening then. I'm loving some of the construction projects right now. We have 2 dorms, South Quad alone. We've got 2 new dorms, Coyle Hall and Grogene Hall, open in August of 2026, and you'll have 525 students between those 2 dorms. But prior to, Fisher and Pangborn, sorry they went to heaven, maybe had 300. So you're going to see a lot more students.
So we're going to get 225 more students in the same basic footprint.
That's right. In beautiful Gothic.
Right.
I mean, and people loved Pangborn and Fisher. We both know it. But these are going to be really nice halls. And as the finance guy, we're not going to have a lot of operating costs.
Right.
Those existed before. They had hall staff before. We had utilities. And so in that sense, I love them for that too. And then South Dining Hall, I don't recommend doing this, trying to do a major major renovation of your dining hall while operating it.
Why?
Right?
Why? And people don't. We're not disturbing the beautiful dining spaces that they're eating in. But what are you doing there, and why?
Yeah, we're going to double the size of the servery in the middle. We just need to do better in terms of the food and actually preparing the food. And our students expect this.
Yeah,
it's different than when you and I were here.
Right.
And there's lots more vegetarians and vegan and those with allergies.
Yes.
That we need to respond to. We now have an allergen kitchen, completely separate from all the other kitchens that you can order your food on an app, right?
Yeah.
But we've got to transform the servery in South Dining Hall, which we will. By next summer, it'll be much, much better. And just have more ranges of food.
Yeah.
They're used to getting food on their phone just about anywhere.
Right.
That's how they come into this place, right? And we're going to do a lot with the retail too. So, anyway.
So those are a couple projects, and then you're doing some stuff downtown as well.
We are. We've been working. We've been working on this for a while, and the whole thought is certainly from a talent position for Notre Dame. So goes the region. So goes Notre Dame, right? And you were in the early conversations with folks in the neighborhood that we needed to do a better job.
Yeah.
Right. And south of campus, you can see it, right, with Eddy Street and everything else. Well, downtown South Bend. We want to do a bit, it pains me to say this, what Duke did with Durham over the last 25 years is pretty extraordinary, right? And we will have a pretty sizable building in downtown South Bend, but we want it to be a community asset where there's tech assets down there. Think AI, our Center for Research Computing, along with regional IT assets and new ones. So if someone's got a business in the IT space, we'd love to have them and try and get this cycle going in downtown South Bend. Right, we just have to, and it's also just...
So similar to what we did at Eddy Street, which was kind of barren, really troubled neighborhood, we go in, make an initial investment, and then hopefully, like what happened with Eddy and around that, it will spur a lot more economic development.
The only difference, it's urban development, right, Lou? So the stakeholder set is different. Getting the rents to the right place is a little bit different than Eddy Street, but similar in that sense. Like if you're a graduate student, and if you had the right housing in downtown South Bend, they'd live there.
Yeah.
Right? If you got that right.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, Father Bob knows, he's from this region. It's just the right thing for Notre Dame to do. We've got to help turn in more jobs in downtown South Bend.
And then you have a new football building that is going to be opening, which is going to create more space for other student athletes in the Goog. And then you also have a north addition to the business building that's going to be coming open next year. And then there's the renovations, reclamations of buildings on campus. What is there anything else?
We also have a geothermal building. You didn't mention that one.
No, that's right. Tell us about the geothermal wells. Give us an update on that because
people don't see it. They
don't see it. Yeah.
So we started many years ago putting geothermal wells across the entire campus. Almost any parking lot you see, there's a geothermal well. Which basically means, the engineers won't love this, but you basically have water 300 feet in a loop that's 50 degrees throughout the year. We have hundreds and hundreds, thousands of wells underneath these parking lots that are clean energy for us. And now we've built this plant, so you'll have a system that can be throughout the entire campus. So it's all part of our carbon reduction, which we're at about 50% reduction.
So we have reduced our carbon footprint in half. Beginning when?
2005 was the year that we compare against. So we've cut it in half since that year.
So in the last 20 years, we've reduced while we've grown the campus, you've reduced the carbon footprint in half.
Correct.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Really impressive. All right, let's talk a little bit about the way that you're using Notre Dame Stadium. We're coming off earlier this fall, start the year, a very popular Zach Bryan concert where our students all of my kids knew who he was.
I had no idea.
Long
my
before.
kids were not impressed that I didn't know much about it.
And everybody was chanting his song. There are not a lot of people that can fill an 80,000 foot stadium or person stadium. So you got that. Before we've had English Premier League soccer games. We have had National Hockey League games. And all. Why do you do these events?
Well, these outside of football, it's great for the region. More hotels, more people in town, right? Restaurants and the like. It's significant for the region to do that. The other reason, I think the Zach Bryan concert, something like 72% of the people that came had never been on campus. So it's great to show off Notre Dame, right? And for them to be really impressed while they're here. And then this one in particular, the students got to go.
Yeah.
Right? The other ones, one was in the summer, I think one was over break, and they had a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, don't forget about how much joy they experienced in that state. I underestimated that.
Yeah.
And they really had an exceptional time in there. And we can do this, but there aren't that many acts. I get lots of suggestions.
Right. Yeah.
And it's actually hard to do it. But
Right.
to fill 80,000, there's not that many acts.
Yeah. And it's not just concerts, it's other events too that you guys are thinking about as well.
That's right.
Which is
certainly
great.
the soccer's a nice family event too.
What a home football weekend right now generates, I think last I saw was somewhere around $35-40 million for the local community and economic, just one weekend in economic development.
Yeah.
And
a
so
concert wouldn't be far behind.
wouldn't be
far behind. You don't get as many nights, right? So you don't get as many hotel rooms and things like that. But yeah, it's a great use of the stadium that doesn't, the field doesn't get used that many times in a year.
We made the decision this year to sell beer and wine in the stadium, which we've had to do to attract these concerts and these professional events and so forth.
Right.
But it was the first time that we did one in several years now. For a home football game.
Yeah.
You've got a little experience now as the season's going on.
Yeah.
What have you learned so far, and how's it going?
Yeah, we had it in the concerts before. We've never had it
Right.
for a football game. And so, up front, we've been looking at this. You know this. We've been looking at this for maybe a decade, right?
Yeah.
It was sort of 20% of colleges were serving alcohol in their stadium. And then it was 50%. And then it hit 90%. We were one of maybe 12 schools, right?
Yeah.
The other 3 or 4 were in Utah where you can't do it, right?
Yeah.
Overall. So we started looking really hard at it again. And to Pete Bavacqua's credit, we did all the security reviews, not athletics.
Yeah.
So my chief, Chief Shibata went out and said, all right, tell me what actually happens once you start serving alcohol in your stadium, right? And this wasn't, my hypothesis was you'd have a little more challenge, and they didn't, right?
Yeah.
It's either even or it's down. I only have one data point, which was the night game the other night, and it was the same.
Yeah.
The same as any night game that we've had before. And the logic, or at least their experience, our peers, is that people drink a little less before they get in there, right? And your students, we make it a little hard. They got to walk a long way to actually find it. And it's really rigorous when you get in there. You're not, if you're under 21, that's not going to happen for you. And the price point.
Exactly, the price point for students. It's not, it's not red, white, and blue. Yeah.
And you've got really well-trained folks. We actually have people in there that are testing the people at the points of sale to just make sure they're getting it right.
So it's manageable, but it's something that you continue to monitor.
No question.
Make sure that,
No, and we'll make mistakes. We better get better game to game, but it went pretty well. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you about human resources falls under your purview. Forbes magazine ranked us as the number one top large employer in the country this past year, and overseeing, outperforming, some of the top corporate entities in the United States and other organizations. First time a university's ever been ranked number one. What are some of the undergirding values for you that lead us to making Notre Dame such an incredible place to work?
I don't know about you. I'm getting this question all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm getting from corporate. I'm getting from higher ed.
Yeah.
What did you do?
That's right.
I didn't know about the ranking.
Yeah.
Like during COVID, I didn't. And then 3 years ago, I think we were 20th, and I was like, wow, what is this ranking?
Yeah.
And it's essentially they interview anonymously some of your current and your former employees, and they average it over 3 years. But back to you're like, what is it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's underneath it? I'd say on the hiring side, and you're as good as it gets, if you don't fit mission, I'm not interested. You're not interested, right? It's a short interview for both of us.
Right.
And I think it's true around the campus. And then if you're not high character, right, and then the competence is third.
Yeah.
That's just, you can be smart, and we've seen this.
Right.
You're not going to make it here. If you're not humble, if you're not mission-centered, it's not happening, right? So we're pretty darn selective in who gets to work here, I'd say. It's one thing. And then we have a mission that just separates us, right?
Yeah.
We've got this bedrock of Holy Cross that when you're hurting, or I'm hurting, or the frontline staff, who's showing up? They are.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why we don't want to work anywhere else.
Right.
And then get the big decisions in the little one. Everybody thinks, in my day, everybody wants to come to me and pretend like it's a big decision every day, 12 things. It's not, right? But during COVID, don't lay people off. Don't furlough, don't take their benefits, right?
Yeah.
And run it as long as you can. to not do that. And then you might be best in class in this. Know people's names.
Yeah.
If you're in the Morrison, learn their names,
Mm-hmm.
right? You need to know the people that are here and then out-thank everybody, right?
Yeah.
The notes matter.
Yeah.
They just matter. So it's, what are we going to say to people? Like, just have a great mission, hire great people, and do the right thing
Yeah.
by your people.
And you and your team, marshaling the staff and faculty and all the support systems that are there have made this a place that attracts the best of the best. I mean, I always say to people, the best thing about working here is the people that I work with. They inspire me to not only want to do my job better, but to live out my faith more fully, to be a better human being. And there's so many people I look at around here and I say, God, I wish I were a little bit more like that person or a little better like this one. And that they abound, including the people that are on this set right now. But you also are always looking for ways to kind of fill gaps. So you just added a kinder care facility here at the university. Tell us why and what that is.
I love that you're asking the question. It started with a couple faculty members, a couple staff came to me and said, hey, we have this gap. We have a childcare on campus right now, ECDC, and they're fantastic. 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, all the way up to kindergarten. But 0 to 2 was a gap here and in the community. And being the guy I am, I just made it a little harder. And I said, all right, show me the data, right? Like, just come back to you. And they did their homework. They proved it out, and they proved the demand on the campus that if we're going to ask people to be their best and they can't feel good about where their 1-year-old is, they got a problem, right? And so we put it out to bid. KinderCare is the biggest in the country. And now we got 100 families that are using it. And the other really important thing to get right is it's a graded scale in terms of what you pay. It's by your income. So the frontliner can have their 1-year-old or 2-year-old over there as well. And so a credit to this committee. They did the work. They were right. And then John McGreevy, it was one meeting after that. And we're like, we got to do that. So, and then, Doug and those guys.
You and I, back in the day, we began working together at the Center for the Homeless, and then
when we were really green.
Really green. I'm not sure that I may be overripe now. I went from green to being overripe.
Yeah, we're the old guys.
Exactly. I got the gray to show it. You don't yet, but we came to Notre Dame and worked together after the homeless center, and then. You had this opportunity to go back and get your MBA. You went to Wharton. I thought at that point you were going to be like most people at the top MBA programs in the country on that fast track to Wall Street and all kinds of incredible opportunities. But you even surprised me as well as I knew you at the time, and you came back to Notre Dame after the MBA with considerable debt, I might add. But you came back to Notre Dame. Why did you come back?
She's really compelling, right? It's two things: mission and people, right? Just you get to work with Affleck Graves and you and others. They just more compelling than the other places I looked at, right? For me. And then the other was this community. We made a bet that our kids were going to be around really good families. And we got it right? Yeah. You got your kids around Notre Dame families and the like, they're going to have that high character that we all want for our kids, right? And so that was the bet, right? And for me, it worked out. I'm not even sure I'm worthy of the job, but I wasn't dreaming about this job when I came back. I can tell you that. So.
And your oldest daughter, you have right now, last year you had 3 kids at Notre Dame. So you get to experience a lot of feedback from the kids. I get a lot of feedback too.
I bet you do.
And people feel bad that they kind of complain about things from all across the country and beyond. Trust me, there's no more complaints that come than right from the home front, as you know, our family. But your daughter. I want to say something about your kids, if you like, and your experience of being a Notre Dame parent. But your daughter Claire was selected as the valedictorian last year, and she gave an incredible address at the commencement ceremonies just a few months ago. And if you just say a little bit about what she chose to do. After graduating from Notre Dame.
Yeah, so she's, people bring up the valedictorian thing. We're, I think, kind of humble people. But for me, the great pride is what she's doing. And I was more nervous on the stage than she was. It was kind of incredible. I'm like, you should be a little nervous. So she is working at a Mate House, which is the Archdiocese of Chicago, and some really good people started 40 years ago. And 8 or 10 people live in community in the Pilsen area, and then they all volunteer for a year at nonprofits throughout Chicago. And her assignment, she is at Our Lady of Tepeyac, which is in Little Village right now. She's teaching at an all-girls, mostly Hispanic and Black high school, and it's just an incredible gift for Claire.
How much is she making a year? I mean, a month? What's her?
I did say to her, I go, Claire, 4-year degree from Notre Dame, $150 a month. I said, that's less than I made in Sarah. And Sarah was an ace, you know? She's making about what you made in Chile, you know, at the time. But she's learning, she's an old soul, right? Claire just has been Notre Dame unlocked a lot. The Steve Reifenberg's, that teacher that really invests and care about you can do. He was incredible. He still is. They're having coffee this Wednesday. In fact, she's back trying to recruit people to a Mate House.
You know, so proud of Claire and so many of our other students that go out and they're not just doing incredible service for those in needs, but they know that their own formation is going to come from these experiences, that they're going to learn, they're going to be deeper in their faith, they're going to be tested every day on every level. And the fact that we have so many students that go out and choose to put themselves in very uncomfortable and unfamiliar settings is really inspiring.
Yeah, for her, you know it, Lou, right? Think back to when you did Chile, right? Pinochet, all of that. How formative it is still today. I mean, I know I talked to Claire yesterday, and this is not easy. But she will be a better, more empathetic leader 5, 10, 30 years from now because of what's happening right now. And Notre Dame had a huge role in that, right? I don't think she gets there without Notre Dame, and maybe her mother. So,
You know, I've one final question, and since we're talking about family, and I know yours so well, tell us about your dad. You know,
it's funny.
Tim Cullinan, we used to call him Timber, you know, for fun. And when I was at the homeless center, I taught a class here, and he audited the class. It was on homelessness.
At age 60-something.
Exactly. He was in his 60s or something. I used to walk, Tim Cullinan, he's a former student of mine. I used to love get a kick out of saying that. But he was somebody who instilled in you, together with your mother, Marianne, incredible values that have kind of led you to come back here and work and serve and give your all and then some.
Yeah, it's funny. I was commencement weekend. I thought about him a lot. And he died when I was in my 20s, right? So I just thought, boy, it would have been special just to see his grandchild graduate, right, from Notre Dame. But anyway,
I think he's.
I don't know. I'm one of 5 boys, right? So God bless my mother. But he grew up in a single parent household, right? His mother raised 5 kids. His dad died when he was 6. He ran the hardware store in my hometown. Walked to work, worked 6 days a week, daily communicate for most of his life. And you know him, pretty humble man, but one of those guys that just had it, right? When he spoke, and they only used words when he had to. Right. People leaned. Right? There was sort of a lean. My friends, people in town would go to see, they'd make up reasons to go to the hardware store, right? Just to see my dad. And we sort of knew it. At a certain age, like, something special about that guy. But it was sort of this humble, hungry, hopeful guy. And he treated my mother like gold, right? I never saw a crossword between my 2 parents in my life, which is unusual. And so it's sort of, set up for us how to have a marriage that looks like that too, right? So, and this was his place, right? This was, he sort of transferred in. He was a transfer student, graduated in 52, and he had 3 great loves, I think. My mother and our family, Notre Dame, and Ireland was the third. But a lot to shape me. And my brothers would say same thing. Their hero, Dad, no question.
That's a great way to kind of end our session right now, because there's a lot to be concerned about in our society. There's things that we see each and every day that can really sadden us, or we can pivot and our focus can be one of gratitude. And that, you think about, your father, you think about your daughter and the work that she's doing now. You think about the people that we get to be with every day at Notre Dame, and the alumni, the parents, the friends, the donors like you that care so deeply about this place. We have so much to be grateful for. Yeah. There's so much that kind of animates what we're trying to do here every day. So in a spirit of gratitude today, let's share the prayer to the woman who's right above us here on this porch in the main building, Our Lady. And so please join us as together we say, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Thanks so much, Shannon. Always great to be with you.
Good to be with you, Lou. Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks,
God
team.
bless, and go Irish.